Hey guys, welcome back to Madeira Farms. Today we are answering probably one of the biggest questions I get asked: how to start a bakery. And in my case, it is a micro bakery or cottage bakery. This means that you are baking right out of your house. You can either sell it wholesale or retail. So wholesale, you're going to be taking it to a location. They're going to buy it bulk from you, and then they're going to put it in their retail location and sell it at a retail price. Retail would literally mean you are selling it right to the customer. So today I have all of my wholesale loaves packaged. I actually have two that are still cooling, and then these are going to go to a wholesale customer. My business model is heavy on the wholesale side, which means I am baking most of my bread to be sold wholesale. But I have some really exciting news. I am actually going to be starting to go to markets and festivals. I am trying to carve out time. You guys know I have two little babies, so I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and it has just been a little bit of a challenge to be able to set some time aside to kind of bulk up my business in ways that really involve my community. And the biggest thing that I can do is go to a market, whether that be farmers markets or even just some festivals that are local, and kind of get my name out there. So that's really exciting. I'm excited to get my hand into that. It's going to be a huge change for me because I am so used to just baking these consistent days. I do take special orders from customers, and I do run a bread club. If you want more information about the bread club, let me know in the comments and I can do a whole video on that because it has been so helpful for me. I'm sure I've mentioned it throughout our time being bread friends, but the bread club has been something that has been very crucial to my growth. But starting a bakery is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. And there are a few things that you're going to need to do before you even start baking in your home to sell to people. Now, there are some legal aspects that you will need to look into in your area. So the first thing is you're going to want to define your business. You're going to want to become an LLC, something along those lines. I would suggest finding a local accountant, someone who can do all of that for you and knows what they're doing. That's what we did. If you're in the Erie area and you're looking to do something like that, let me know. I can give you their information. And she just took care of us. She asked what we're going to be selling, and then she built our entire business. She got us a license to charge tax, all the things that we needed to get our business off the ground in that way. The next thing that you're going to have to do is some sort of cottage bakery license, limited food establishment business license. Every state is a little bit different, and you'll just have to kind of do some digging and research to find out what you need. I would ask if you have local bakers or anyone who makes cookies in your area. I'm sure they've went down that road and you would have to do the same thing. So I would just reach out to them. There's always some sort of application. It usually is going to come with a water test, filling out some forms, sending in that you're a legitimate business, that you can charge tax, showing that you have some sort of business account. Those things will have to take place. You send in the application, someone comes and inspects your home, inspects your area, and then you pay a small fee and you're able to then do a business. I am not a legal eel. I don't really like the legal stuff of it. I honestly have asked a lot of people, and I just kind of did it on my own, filled out the application, went down the checklist, whatever I needed to do, I did. And that's how I am doing what I'm doing now. But there are a lot of other things that go into starting your bakery. If you are doing a sourdough bakery, there are 4 major things that you need to do before you start your bakery. One is you need to make sure that there's a need for sourdough in your area. We live in a pretty small area, and there are, I think, 1 to 2 other people maybe in my area that do sourdough, but they don't do anything like I do. So there's definitely a need in my area. The other thing is, are your grocery stores supplying sourdough? And if they are, is it actual sourdough? And what are they charging? Because I was just at Sam's Club the other day and I saw a loaf of sourdough and I was like, oh, good for Sam's Club, way to go. And they were charging $3 a loaf. My loaves depending on wholesale or retail, can go anywhere from about $5 to $12. So that is much, much more than a $3 loaf at Sam's Club. Now, when I looked at the ingredients in the loaf at Sam's Club and I felt the bread, it's definitely not a high quality sourdough. So you just need to do your research, talk to businesses, see if they're looking to have sourdough in their shops. Because if nobody is wanting sourdough, then you probably shouldn't start it. I know that's pretty obvious, but if you already have like 50 sourdough bakers in your area and everyone is kind of biting at the bit, maybe you do sourdough and you do it in a different way and you're organic or a little bit more authentic, something like that, that would set you apart for sure. I'm not discouraging you from starting it. I know if you do your market research, there's going to be a demand for sourdough in your area. A lot of people are trying to still get their hands on it and they want quality ingredients. So you could be that person for them. Okay, so that was number one. That was a long one. Number two is you're gonna have to have a live active starter. Your starter is going to be the whole point of your business. You need to have live active starters. You need backups. You need to make sure that no matter what, you can bake sourdough bread. Today we are going to take both of these starters and I pour a little bit into here and I feed it and I keep it in here over the weekend. These two jars get cleaned really well, get sanitized, and then Monday morning I split it from this into those two again and feed them both to bulk them up so that I can start baking. But this is really important to do. If your sourdough starter is staying in jars, your sourdough starter is a live thing. If it's just staying in these jars and you're not taking great care of it, you are putting yourself at risk to not have a great starter for your business, which is the whole point of it. So that is the second thing. Your starter has to be active, it has to be live, it has to be bubbly. You have to be able to make great sourdough loaves that people are gonna want to bite into. You do not want to be making these flat pancake disc loaves and putting them out there. Great loaves for your family can come in all shapes and sizes. They can be super flat. They can be not round at all. But if you're going to be selling, especially wholesale, you want to make sure that whatever you give that customer, they're going to be putting out as if it's their own investment, and you want them to feel good about it too. So that is one thing that I would highly suggest, is just make sure your sourdough starter is great and you are baking awesome loaves that you are so proud of. And I swear it'll be so easy to sell yourself. I can't tell you how many people I talk to and I'm like, I would love for you to have my bread because I love it and it's awesome and so many people love it. And I can go on and talk to them about it. And it doesn't feel like I'm being salesy because I truly believe in sourdough. I love it so much. As you can tell, I get super excited. But I just think it is such a cool product that I would love for other stores to have and for people to enjoy. I am so long-winded and I'm so sorry. That was number two. Number three is you're gonna wanna focus on branding. Branding is so important when it comes to your loaves. And branding can be anything from your Instagram to if you do YouTube. All of your color schemes need to kind of match, and your packaging has to be quality packaging. You do not want to send your bread off in a Ziploc bag. Like, that is a big no-go. If you're giving it to friends and family, it doesn't really matter. But key things when packaging sourdough is you need the customer to be able to see the bread. So we use these window bags and they are so nice because the customer can clearly see what's inside the bag. They get an idea of what the bread actually looks like. If you're putting it in something that's all brown and no one can see anything, then they're not gonna know what they're getting. Yeah, you can say it's an everything bagel, but how much everything is it? Or you can say it's pepperoni, but what does that look like? And then this just gives them a great idea. There's also clear plastic bags. I've seen so many people use those. Those are a little bit more cost efficient. It's just like a plastic bag that you would put like I want to say zip tie, that you would put a twist tie to, and people use those all the time. They kind of just tape them down, or they do use the twist tie, and then they put their sticker on it whatever it is. You are going to have to be flexible with some of your marketing. Right now, I am still under a bit of a contract with my wholesaler. They are selling the bread as if they are making it. And we decided on that model because they are very well known. And if they said Madera Farms is making this bread, I am pretty new in the grand scheme of like my area and bakers. With their name behind it, it gave it a little bit more of a push. But I think now that I'm kind of established, I'm going to be starting to switch over all of my branding to my own. So I have a meeting with them to kind of talk through that, because it is a big deal for them and it's a big deal for me too. I put a lot of time, effort, and energy into this whole business, and I don't want to sell myself short with not being able to put my labels on stuff. And I also think for them, they want to keep it their brand as well. So we're going to kind of talk through some of that stuff. I'm sure we'll come to an awesome agreement. I'm really not worried about it either way. It's just something that I feel like I have earned. So we're going to talk that through. So for right now, for my wholesale customers, they just get a generic sticker that comes with the bag, and then they have some signage at their store that says like pricing and what kind of bread and all that stuff. For my retail customers, they do get different stickers, and I'm actually working on some other labels too. Whatever it is, branding is very important and you need to keep it consistent. So if you're going to use brown paper bags like these, then stay with these bags. If you're going to put some sort of funky sticker and make it kind of hippie or whatever, stick with it. Whatever it is, stick with it so that the customer, when they see that, they know it's you. My plan for market, share all of this branding stuff more in depth when I start going to market and I really start nailing down my branding. But my plan for the future is to have special bags that say Madera Farms Bread Company on them. I'm going to get actual bags that I saw these like big stamps, and I'm going to get those, stamp everything. So when people are walking around markets, they're going to have these bags that say Madera Farms Bread Company, and they're going to be able to have like a QR code, sticker, or something on them that they can easily scan and place an order. You want to make it very easy for you to be noticed and for people to order from you. That is the goal. So that is number 3, branding, making sure that everything is very consistent. The last thing that you need to do if you are going to be starting a micro bakery or bakery of any sort is to make sure that it is feasible for you to do. And there's a few things that fall under that. 1, do you have the time, energy, and effort to put into making something actually work? If you are going to start a bakery and you're going to make 12 cupcakes a week, it's not worth your time, energy, and effort to do that. If you're going to start selling cookies, again, it's not worth your time, energy, and effort to do all of these things, get inspections, all that stuff. If you're going to make 12 cookies, if you're making, someone says, can you make cookies for a birthday party? Like, don't go and do all of these other things if you're not going to actually start like a significant business. You are totally fine to just kind of bootleg it and sell a few things here and there. I don't really think there's a problem, and I don't think anyone would think there's a problem if you bake 4 loaves of bread for 3 friends. Like, I don't think that that's a big deal. If you're baking 50, 60, 70 loaves a week, it's definitely in your best interest to do all of these things, because you're, at this point, you are a legitimate business and you want to start growing. So do you have, are you going to put the time, energy, and effort into making it an actual business? So when I talk about time, this is something that's very, very important, and I'm struggling myself with it right now. But I have 2 little kids, as I mentioned before, and I am lucky enough to have my in-laws and my parents here to help. And that's something that you're really going to have to decide if you want to step away from your kids for however long it takes to really focus on your business. Do you want them to be away for that time? And I'm telling you, it's hard, and I struggle with it all the time, because I left my job to be a stay-at-home mom. That is so fulfilling and I love it, but I felt like I was not contributing to my family. And this business has made me feel like I am giving a little bit to my family in a financial way. I also find it very, very rewarding to talk to my customers. It just helps. It just makes me feel good. So if you don't want to do that, and if you're thinking, God, I've baked 10 loaves of bread for friends and family, and I just really do not like how long it takes, I don't like being in the hot kitchen, then don't do it. Because once you get to a spot where you're baking so many loaves, you are in a hot kitchen, you are working more than 2 hours a day. And especially if you're going to start doing content creation, which is a huge part of any business these days, making sure that you are visible on the internet and that you are posting regularly. I know people don't want to really say that, but it's true. Like, you have to be on the internet, you have to be in people's faces. There's so much noise out there that this is a very, very important part of my business, is making sure this is a very important part of my business is making sure that you guys are learning, that people are seeing what I have available, so many things, right? So I hope those tips help. I really want to just put it out there that starting a business, starting a bakery, especially a micro bakery, it's not hard. It's really not hard to check off the list, get all the things done that you need to get done. But if you want it to be successful, if you really want this thing to get off the ground, it's going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to sacrifice. Some days I want to go to the pool with my friends and bring our kids and have fun play dates, and just, we can't do that. We are in a season right now where it's kind of like grinding to get this thing off the ground, to perfect all my skills. And if that means that I have to sacrifice a day or two a week for me to be able to do that, then that's what I have to do. So that is my rant about this whole thing. I hope that you guys grab something from this video. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments. I am so happy to help. I really am trying to set up something in my Google Calendar so that you guys can do like 15-minute coaching calls. I get a lot of questions on how to do this, and I would love to just carve out some time for you and I to chat. I haven't figured it out yet. I see a lot of people that are doing that, but for some reason, every time I do it, I send someone the link. It's like, you have 1 minute to schedule this call, and that's not what I'm trying to do. So that is just something that I am putting out there. I'm trying to get it figured out, but if you have questions, please leave them in the comments, send me a message on Instagram. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. That is where I post all my stories. It's kind of like everything I'm doing throughout the day, new trials, if I'm trying out something new, a new recipe, all of that is over on Instagram. So make sure to follow us there. And I think that's it for today. I didn't really plan out this video too much. I just really had something weighing on my heart that said, people are asking how to get this thing started, how to get it off the ground. So let them know what you know. It might not be perfect. I don't think there is a perfect way. I think you just have to kind of check off that list and do it. I hope this is helpful. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, friends.